By the way, you had a fence
Yes.
between you, which you replaced.
Yes.
And according to your papers, you assumed that the plaintiffs would share in the cost of that. Is that what?
I didn't assume. So before, the fence was maybe 4 or 5 feet tall. It was falling apart. We would talk about it repairing, making a fence, and he would always offer, yeah, we go half and half. He mentioned it a few times. So when the time came, I mentioned them to them. I'm going to start building a fence, and that's what I did.
And how much did it cost you to build the fence?
$900 is what I paid for labor, and $824 in material.
You have some dispute about that you agreed, but nevertheless, isn't it true that she did repair the fence?
She did. She texted me, so I have the total of the fence. It was around $445, and I paid my ex $200. And she said, I have receipts, but she never showed me any receipts.
Okay. I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, we're going to excuse the parties while we deliberate in this matter. Thank you.
This courtroom is now in recess, so we'll have you wait outside the courtroom.
The liability here isn't an issue,
Right.
I understand their dilemma in that this estimate's pretty high, yes, but apparently they don't have a choice. They could stay with this dented up carport, which isn't fair to them, or they go with this person that's quoting them $6,000 for what they need, new material. They don't use the same material. So whatever the case is, I think that they're entitled, even if we were to deduct what they owe for the fence that the defendant is countersuing them for, they would still be at over $5,000.
I doubt the validity of the statement that this cannot be repaired. If the defendant had come with an estimate that said, yes, it can be repaired, that would seem more credible to me, but she didn't.
She just got reassurance that it can be repaired. I don't understand why she didn't go further and say,
So-
well, how much?
So
That's why.
I think we could grant the plaintiff what she's asking for. The court maximum is $5,000. And also grant defendant's counterclaim $900, but take that off of the excess.
The 6,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was the defendant's obligation to bring evidence. She knew this was an issue.
And actually, she has a cause of action against the tree trimmer for
Absolutely.
that amount of money. It's possible she can get reimbursed for some of it.
So we have a verdict.
Yeah, we have a verdict.
This court is again in session.
Ms. Powers, Ms. Aguilar, we have reached a unanimous verdict in this case. We are convinced, Ms. Powers, that you have met your burden of proof today. You submitted an estimate that is quite pricey. We are a little skeptical that this carport just is beyond repair. Ms. Aguilar, you expressed some skepticism in terms of whether this could be repaired, but you didn't actually bring us any proof of that. You didn't bring us an estimate. And so all we have is what you've provided to us, which is a $6,000 estimate. Obviously, you know our maximum is $5,000. When we get to your counterclaim, Ms. Aguilar, we believe that you two had a conversation about going half on a fence, whether it was for $400, $300, $900, which is what you're suing for. You would still reach our maximum amount, which is still $5,000. So the verdict in this case is in favor of you, Ms. Powers, for $5,000.